can I join you?" The lonely female CEO whispered after seeing a father and son's Christmas party. The woman stood still just inside the restaurant door, her expensive heels forgotten on the tiled floor, her breath caught somewhere between pride and pain as she watched a father and his young son celebrate Christmas with a single cupcake, one trembling candle, and a love so real it quietly shattered the walls she had spent her entire life building around her heart. Before we go any further into this story, pause for just a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Grandma Dearie. Your support keeps stories like this reaching the hearts that need them most. She was known in boardrooms as a force of nature. At 42, the female CEO had built an empire that others only dreamed of. Her calendar was full, her phone never silent. Her name carried weight in every industry room she entered. Yet on this winter evening, wrapped in a tailored black coat, she felt smaller than she had ever felt before. Snow had followed her into the restaurant, melting quietly at her feet, while warmth and laughter filled the space around her. She had only stopped in to escape the storm and the silence waiting at home, but fate had different plans. Her eyes found the small table in the corner, where a tired but devoted father leaned forward, smiling with pure attention at his son. The boy, no older than 6, wore a red Santa hat that slipped sideways as he spoke, his hands animated, his joy unfiltered. Between them sat a simple cupcake, a single candle glowing like a promise that refused to fade. Something inside her chest tightened painfully. She had celebrated many Christmases surrounded by luxury, but never with this kind of warmth. Her own childhood came rushing back in fragments she usually avoided. A large empty house, parents too busy to notice, gifts left unopened because there was no one to share them with. She learned early that love was unreliable, but success was not. So she chased it relentlessly, trading birthdays for board meetings, relationships for results, until loneliness became her quiet companion. Standing there now, she realized how heavy that companionship had become. The father and son laughed softly, their world complete without anything extra, and she felt the ache of everything she had missed. She chose a table nearby, but her attention never left them. She watched as the father wiped frosting from the boy's cheek with the back of his thumb, watched how the child leaned forward in complete trust, watched a bond so strong it made her question every decision she had ever made. Her food went untouched. Her mind wandered to the countless nights she had returned to her penthouse, the city lights bright but cold, the silence louder than any storm. She had told herself she preferred it that way. Tonight, that lie felt impossible to maintain. Minutes passed, then more. The restaurant buzzed softly with holiday warmth, but she felt suspended in time. Finally, driven by something braver than confidence and more fragile than pride, she stood. Her steps felt heavy as she approached the table, each one challenging the armor she wore so well. The father looked up, surprise flickering across his face, protective but open. The boy tilted his head, curious, unafraid. In a voice that barely carried over the soft music, she asked if she could join them, her words trembling not with fear of rejection, but with the hope of being seen as human rather than powerful. The answer came not in words, but in a simple gesture. A chair was pulled back, space was made. She sat, her heart racing, unsure why this small act felt more meaningful than any deal she had ever closed. The candle flickered as they shared the cupcake, laughing quietly when it nearly went out too soon. She listened more than she spoke, absorbing stories about school projects, favorite cartoons, and dreams that had not yet been complicated by disappointment. The father's voice was tired but steady, filled with patience she had rarely witnessed in her own life. The boy's laughter landed somewhere deep inside her, warming places she thought were long gone. As the evening unfolded, something inside her softened. She spoke of nothing important, no titles, no achievements, only small memories and quiet thoughts. She realized she did not need to impress anyone at that table. She was enough simply sitting there. For the first time in years, she felt present, grounded, and strangely peaceful. When the check arrived, she paid without ceremony, not to show status, but to honor the moment. Outside, the snow had slowed, the world hushed. The boy hugged her goodbye without hesitation, and that simple embrace stayed with her long after they parted. The days that followed were different. She returned to work, but the emptiness no longer felt permanent. She began to question what success truly meant. She reached out again, not as a CEO, but as someone who wanted connection. Slowly, her life expanded beyond boardrooms and schedules. She found purpose in showing up, in giving time instead of orders, in listening instead of leading. The father found stability and support without judgment, and the boy gained another steady presence, someone who celebrated his small victories and listened to his big dreams. By the next Christmas, the restaurant felt familiar, the table no longer small. The laughter came easily, not because life was perfect, but because it was shared. She understood now that loneliness was not solved by wealth, but by courage. The courage to ask for a seat at the table, and the courage to say yes. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the power of kindness and human connection, please take a moment to like, share, and engage with this video. Your support helps stories like this reach others who may be feeling alone. Before we end, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and share what this story made you feel, or tell us about a moment when a small act of kindness changed your life. Because sometimes the most powerful words are not spoken in boardrooms or speeches, but whispered softly at a table, asking not for success, but for belonging.